Welcome to the Top to Bottom Male Romance podcast, where we celebrate all things male romance. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Marky.
And this is our top episode for the month of February.
We're going to be celebrating the month of love. So in the month of February, we actually have two cool Valentine's Day anthologies that are going on. The first one that I wanted to bring up was the Heart to Heart charity anthology that's going to happen on February 7th. Some really big name authors are contributing to this anthology for Valentine's Day and for the charity. Some of the authors are Charlie Cochet, Sloane Kennedy, Lucy Lennox, of course, Allison Hendricks, A.E. Wasp. A lot of awesome people are contributing to this for this amazing cause. So if you guys get a chance to check that out, definitely do so. I don't have a direct link, but I think if you follow any of those authors, you'll be able to see when that launches. But I'll link like Sloane Kennedy's or Allison Hendricks' Facebook page in the show notes so you guys can follow them if you don't already. The next one I wanted to bring up is Isabel Starling is doing a male romance Valentine's Day giveaway that has over 34 authors, and they're going to be doing that from February 10th to the 14th. So that's going to be a really cool one to follow. I think I found this information on Jackie Keswick. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Jackie Keswick's website. So I'll link it in there because there's a cool interview talking about the anthology and how long it's been going on and cool things like that. So you guys can check it out. So along with all the cool Valentine's Day stuff this month, we also had the chance to talk to author duo K.A. Miracan about their series Guns and Boys and their their new Patreon that they were just able to launch, along with a bunch of other fun stuff, which is awesome.
So much other fun stuff.
Yes, we kind of went off on a tangent about all kinds of great things. They're a blast to talk to, so we had a great time having them on the show. So without further ado, here's our interview. So joining us today is the writing duo K.A. Miracan. They are a team of writers who try not to sulk at adulting with some success. Always eager to explore the murky waters of the weird and wonderful, K.A. Miracan don't follow the fixed formulas and want each of their books to be a surprise for those who choose to hop on for the ride. They specialize in dark, dirty, and dangerous side of romance, full of bikers, bad boys, mafioso, and scorching hot romance. They are Polish. They are neither sisters nor a couple. Kat's an artist. Agnes is a psychologist, but neither works in their field. Kat's fingers are 2 times longer than Agnes's.
So welcome to Top to Bottom, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. So someplace that we usually start everybody that we have on the show is what got you into male romance?
I think I started out through yaoi manga, although to be fair, there was something about non-cis, non-straight themes in books and media in general that always drew me in since I was very young. So I would look for books on those topics about gay people, about queer people. In my local library, for example. I can't even tell why, really. Maybe it was because it was something that in Catholic and conservative Poland it wasn't really talked about. And then I met gay people and non-cis people. And I realized there were many stories to tell because those stories that were being told were rather sad. And they always have those bad endings.
That was in the 90s,
yes.
Right? All the saddest stories. Yes. You can only get sad
It was
stories.
So depressing.
And where you could get good stories was in fan fiction, for example, or in slash fiction. So that's similar for me. I got in through a lot of manga and yaoi, and then I started watching movies. And actually one of my first forays into actual writing was a Harry Potter fan fiction. Not proud of that anymore.
I gotta ask who you shipped in that, though.
It was based in the past, and it was young Snape and Lucius.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, Jess is a huge Harry Potter fanatic, so I think you guys just became best friends.
It was very dramatic.
You would have to be with those two.
Teenager, you love the most dramatic things.
Yes. And you feel you're so deep when you write.
Hey, we all start somewhere.
Exactly.
Awesome. So you guys are a writing team. You write together. How does your writing process usually work with both of you doing a lot of the work?
It's been over 10 years now that we write together, so it's like well-oiled machine. But it took a while to get to this place, and we have quite a good system going of me, Kat, mostly doing social media and marketing, Agnes is a lot better at actually following instructions. So she does things like formatting.
I'm doing all the nitpicky stuff, the boring stuff.
She does the first pass of edits. So then I go through the second one, and then we write completely together and we plot together as well. But we do like to have quite a set plot. So we spend a lot of time to write it all down first. So then when we actually get into the writing, we can go through 10,000 words a day if we're in a good zone.
Yes, there are many.
Yeah.
So, for example, the book that we are writing now, which is Guns N' Boys Book 7, it took us, I think, 4 or 5 days to actually make up the plan.
But that is after months of thinking about things and writing down little ideas, so that by the time you're supposed to sit down and plot it all out, you do know vaguely what's going to happen. You just need to put it in an order. So it's not like it can happen in 4 days, but when you actually sit down and plot it out, that can take 2 to 4 days.
That's the phase of intense work, basically.
Yes, yeah. And then we go straight into writing.
When I had saw you guys posted on your Facebook, you had sticky notes or Post-it notes like in a circle in your room.
Last one, yeah. It was quite fun because this is, for the one we're writing now, there were so many things that we knew we wanted to include, but they were events that were kind of movable. We don't often do sticky notes, but for this one, it really worked because we could just put it all out on the carpet. It stayed there for like 2 weeks and move the events around in time and see how it affected the other events. It was nice to just see it straight up.
Yeah, we made sure not to have guests when we had the sticky notes on the living room.
So one of the things I definitely wanted to bring up is that you guys recently started a Patreon for your series Guns N' Boys. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We thought about maybe setting up a Patreon for a while now, but we weren't sure how to approach it because we didn't want to just jump in on it. But this was the one thing that we do struggle a bit with financially, because this series is a bit niche. It's a bit controversial because the characters can behave very badly, and
very badly.
Also it's a kind of a brutal series, I guess. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. And
with every book in a series about one couple, in every series like that, there is drop in readers with every book. It's just normal. New readers come into the first books and you get new fans, but there is a drop anyway. And our plan at the moment is for 13 books. So to keep going, we really need some support because otherwise we can't dedicate as much time to this series as we would like.
And we knew there is a section of our readers who really love this particular series. So we thought it would be a good idea to set this up. And so far, so good.
Mm-hmm. We reached our first goal, which is a second Guns N' Boys book this year. Yeah, we're happy about that.
It's really exciting.
And then we also get to do all these little things that you don't do if you only write books. When you write books, you write a book, you publish it, you sell it. Whereas with the Patreon, we get to justify spending time on all the little flash fiction, alternative POV and snippets that don't end up in the books, or actual physical swag. We actually commissioned a special design for a postcard that is exclusive to Patreon. So we can play around and invest in things that otherwise would be just things we need to pay for by ourselves and not know what the outcome would be.
Awesome. So that was going to be our follow-up was how's the feedback been so far, but it sounds like it's been pretty good.
It's been it's been a whirlwind because it's only 7 days now and we've passed our first goal. It's really exciting and everyone's so supportive. I was afraid how it would go down, but actually it's been amazing.
Yes, because Patreon can be a bit controversial, I would say, because there's some readers and authors who don't like this idea at all. We were on the fence, but yeah, for those particular projects that we can't
justify investing as much time,
true, because
to get the support is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen a self-published author do Patreon before, and I thought that was such a unique idea. I couldn't imagine why more people weren't doing that. Because when I saw you guys talking about it, I was like, well, why isn't this more of a thing? Like, it just seems like such a good idea for authors who, especially putting out your own, you do your own marketing and your own, you're self-published. So I don't know. Do you think that this might be something that you see a rise in self-publishing authors doing in the future?
First, I have to say that there is quite a few authors, so I don't want to seem like we're the first here. We're not at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Santino Hassel has a very popular one. Josephine Miles just started one. I was actually thinking about maybe creating a little website of a directory of LGBT or romance writers on Patreon. So I'm going to look into that maybe next month. But it's really good, especially for really niche authors. We are lucky in the sense that some of our ideas really seem to click with readers, and like Laurent and the Beast last year, our time travel biker romance, who's gonna buy that? Clearly, it really was very popular. But some people have ideas that maybe are not the most marketable ones or not most popular ones, which doesn't mean that they shouldn't be written or that they're not worth writing. So it's amazing that really niche LGBTQ voices can express themselves and be paid for it and make money, even if their book will only be read by 100 people.
That's true, because I would say because I think Patreon is generally a great thing for people who have those niche projects that wouldn't be picked up by a publishing house, or even if it would be picked up, then it wouldn't be marketed very widely. Those people can find their audience, and if the audience wants this kind of content, they will be more, I would say...
Because let's say someone does have some disposable income and wants to support a favorite book, but he can only buy the book once. But if he can actually go on and support that author with more money because they love what the author creates, they can do that with Patreon.
Yes, I've been on Patreon as a patron for quite a while now, and I'm supporting some YouTubers who do free content for YouTube. And obviously they are getting their videos monetized, but I want them to buy new cameras and deliver amazing content for me, because I am technically watching it for free, only for watching some ads in the middle. I always thought this is a great opportunity for people and various content creators to connect and produce stuff that wouldn't otherwise be made by mainstream media.
I support a few illustrators because I love painting and illustration, but I know how hard it is to make a living off it. And sometimes it's very hard to monetize because I wouldn't want to even buy prints of most of my favorite illustrators because I wouldn't have where to put them. But I want people to create them, so I'm happy to support them. So it's really nice that it gives this opportunity.
Yeah, I definitely hope to see, and I didn't know that there was that many self-publishing authors on Patreon. So if you do put that list together, I want to see it because that's amazing. But two, I love the premise of it too, of being able to support the more niche stories and things that are out there, because being able to keep that platform going is important.
Yes, and people can contribute in small amounts if they don't have much disposable income, but it all it is collected. So
if enough people support it for $1, it's an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm. So shifting back to your other works, you recently you brought up Laurent and the Beast, which is a paranormal horror kind of genre. I don't know if I'm familiar with most of your series, the Kings of Hell's the paranormal one, but the Guns and Boys, the Coffin Nails. Why did you guys shift to paranormal this time around?
Well, it was an idea that we had for 2 years approximately, and we hesitated because we didn't know if it was going to sell, so it's a financial risk for us. And then we had this need to finally write this story because we loved it so much, and we wrote it very fast as far as I remember, because we had this amazing flow with this book.
But also, the contemporary books were never the only ideas we've ever had. Our first books that we've come up with, which were actually ridiculously niche and very unpopular, were set in our post-zombie apocalypse Victorian steampunk world. So,
that sounds amazing.
Very mainstream.
That did not catch on.
It didn't catch on. But we still have books we want to write in that world. So we are happy that slowly we're really understanding even ourselves, our brand more and more, because I was really happy that the paranormal ones got so much traction, because it means that people don't just want contemporary criminals from us. They want the darkness, the kind of the vibe. So if you get them the right vibe, they will go with us to any genre, and I'm really happy to see that.
Are there any other genres that you might want to dabble in the future?
high fantasy.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, awesome.
We are planning a trilogy, and we are so afraid it's not going to sell at all, but we will write.
Yes, we already have drawn in a friend to be a consultant, because it will be set in this world that we created together with this friend and other people. We are going on vacation together soon, and he will be there, and we will be probably discussing this over and over.
Yes. What we kind of understood now is that we can bring, for example, to high fantasy, the exact same thing we bring to our other books. So it's not going to be, I don't know, sweeter or less intense just because it's high fantasy, epic fantasy or something like that. It's going to be bloody, gritty, dubious morals. We're planning for it to be 2 knights.
Friends to enemies to
lovers.
Yes.
Of course, the best of both, everything. Bloodthirsty knights, the battlefield, full on.
Yeah, it's gonna be an intense book. Yeah, we hope it's gonna work out and that we can publish this one this year.
Any other genres we had in mind?
We always don't want hard sci-fi.
I don't want hard. But there's another that we're that is urban fantasy that we've again been talking about for years now. It's supposed to be set in Polish countryside, and we are thinking of giving it that flavor of Slavic mythology. Bring that to the table. I don't know if any of you read or played Witcher.
I was going to ask. Yes. I was going to be like, do you mean like The Witcher? But I didn't know if that...
Because we're actually excited because there's a TV show coming for Witcher. I think next something like that. And for us, for most Polish people who love fantasy, this is what they grew up with. Yes. You know, The Witcher is something that we all read.
This is the
book in Poland for fantasy. And we're really excited about maybe writing our Slavic mythology story when the series comes out next year or something like that. We're going to see if we can align it.
That would be perfect.
About, showing, doing something different, not the same old druids, because I've seen it everywhere.
Nothing wrong with druids.
Yeah, nothing wrong with druids.
But this is our heritage. I think it's really cool, so we want to feature that. But we'll see.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, we're both big gamers in general, but Witcher in particular, we fell head over heels with. We played all of them, and my husband bought me there's a cosplayer who does a Geralt cosplay that's amazing, and he sold a calendar with it's mostly him without his shirt off as Geralt, and that's like 12 months of that. So
congratulations on the husband. But
that's another idea, an urban fantasy set in modern Poland but with the Slavic mythology, so it's going to be really fun.
Yes, it's going to be quite different.
And speaking of taboos, one of the guys will be a priest.
Ooh, interesting. That's always a fun twist.
Yes.
Let me see. Well, I guess it kind of rolled it. I was going to ask if you had any other hints of future works coming down the pike, but I guess you answered that with your the upcoming high fantasy and everything. So that's pretty awesome. I look forward to that for sure.
We have a chart.
Yeah, we have a chart.
But the next Guns N' Boys book
coming out in March, most likely.
That's the first one. We will have the second Guns N' Boys book this year, which will be the story of the adoptive son of the main couple in the series. Because, he's a young guy who had to grow up.
I really like about this story that, without any spoilers, this is a character that's gonna be with them 3 books, and he gets his POV, and you get to learn about him without getting a traditional romance story. You see a coming-of-age story in the background of Dom and Seth's romance story. So it's kind of amazing to finally get to the point where he gets his story. It's really cool because you got to show him with different people along the way where he's only learned something, not really had a relationship. So yeah, that's really fun. And then we're going to have kind of a fetishistic story coming in February.
Oh, nice.
No, a little crazy story about it's going to be heavy BDSM based on a theme of domestic discipline, with one of the guys being a full-time cross-dresser who loves to dress up as a 50s style mother.
Oh, wow.
and give discipline while also baking cookies.
Well,
The guy needs to. The other guy is like a builder, like a typical rugged style kind of builder who loves discipline and falls head over heels for his mama, who does his laundry and creates this whole crazy domestic world. So it's there's a romance in there, but it's also very heavily erotic, fetishistic. And we have the second book in our rocker stories coming just
4th of February.
4th of February.
That was the I'm Here for the Pain?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just
okay.
With the guy with a mohawk and. So that, in short, is crazy stalker fan turns out to be able to give the drummer Sid what he actually wants in bed, and all of a sudden it's kind of he's invited, and and things get weird because all of a sudden he wants him around, and he's been his stalker for 6 years. So
yeah, but things are not exactly what they seem. So
there's a lot more to that.
There.
There's some second chances things going on there.
And the next Kings of Hell, which is Grace's book.
I'm really looking forward to that. I love that universe anyway, but I love Gray, so I'm like, I'm hoping that one comes out soon.
So there was a bit of a cliffhanger with him at the end of book 3. So in book 4,
we get to find out what is the deal with the devil that he's made, and of course
that's exciting.
Yeah, things will go down
as they typically do.
And what I can reveal, and I think it shows from a mini blurb we've written, that his partner is coming from the other side.
Ooh, that is exciting.
Mm-hmm. And then I know we've announced it somewhere, but it's still a bit on the down low. There will be another book, a last book in the Kings of Hell and series, which is called In the Arms of the Beast, and it will be for Laurent and Beast,
which will be the closing act of the whole Pact with the Devil story.
So it started with them, and it will end with them.
Oh, crazy. That's awesome.
We are so excited to get back to these characters after a bit of time, after, what they've been through in a relationship, and still show some struggles and some new things, and
new things about Lauren's relationship with plastic too.
His love of the modern world knows no bounds.
I was going to ask what other authors do y'all like to read, but you write so much. How is there time to read ever?
It can be a bit of a struggle. Obviously, we try to read, but a lot of the time we actually read nonfiction
for research or for inspiration.
But I do love K.D. Charles. We've recently the Subs Club series.
That's by J.A. Rock.
Yes, we really like that one.
Oh yeah, I just read one of J.A. Rock's. What is it called? It was the gentleman of, oh my God, I can't remember it now. I just read it and I totally forgot.
Good job, girl, recording on a podcast.
It was the Playing the Fool series.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just read all 3 of those and loved them. And that was my first J.A. Rock book that I know they co-authored it with somebody else, but that was my first foray into it.
I just really like about the Subs Club how realistic the BDSM scene was shown, because it's so just weird and quirky. It's all millionaire domes and craziness.
Also, what I really appreciate because those are the only books of her I've read so far. I'm gonna read more because I'm liking them.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved how she pictured the characters. Those young characters, they don't act like people 20 years older, which can often be a problem in books, which is not necessarily because of who most writers are age-wise, but sometimes I know some young writers try to not use slang, for example, so that everything is clear to everyone. And
really, I found it the other way around, that sometimes writers can't catch the language of people who are maybe 25, and I've seen people who have grown up at another time, that they expect a certain maturity of 25-year-olds, and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, I'm 30 and that's about my level, so that's it right.
I've been talking to some authors that are in our age group, and some of them have this outlook on this, that a book should be written so that they are very clear to everyone. So it makes sense to some degree, but on the other
some
hand,
flavor.
Yes, like if I read 30-year-old hipster, I want him to be like a 30-year-old hipster.
Yeah, I want him to talk about memes and,
Me and Jess had talked about that recently because I forgot what book we were reading, but there was one that had a lot of slang, and we're also in our 30s, and it was slang that we'd never heard of before, and it just made us feel old. And I was just like, I don't know what they're saying. I'm not hip with the lingo. I have no idea what this means.
That's what the internet is for. You can just check it.
Urban.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I ended up having to Google one of them because I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about at this point.
We had some feedback on our book called Hipster Brothel, that some people really couldn't connect with these people living very alternative lifestyles, and they couldn't believe that who would come up with an idea that, and I'm thinking, that is it literally happened. Not exactly the theme of the book, but other things in that book. I literally know people who did that, who quit their job and started doing jams, whatever, people do all sorts of things. And it's sad that you kind of can't go out of your own bubble. That's what I love about reading, that I can see a different part of the world, see a different side of, just see people who aren't like me.
Yes, a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Very often we associate with people who have a similar upbringing, similar political views and everything else. And there is a whole different world out there of people you don't know, and because you just don't talk to them.
For sure. I can definitely understand that, because if you stay in an echo chamber for long enough, if you try to reach out at that point, then you'll read something that you have no idea what's going on or you can't relate to. So being exposed to different things, especially in the genres, is a lot of fun, because there are books that delve into lifestyles and situations that I've so far removed from my norm, but then I can adore these characters more because I see these things from a totally different light. So I can definitely understand that.
Yes, I'm always fascinated when I read books that are very much placed in a different country, that has a different culture than mine, or are by people who are a different ethnicity, because they notice stuff that I don't. And, stuff just escapes your attention, even though it's happening right in front of you, because you're not focused on noticing certain things. So this is what initially has drawn me to reading when I was very young, that you can experience all those things.
Well, fantastic. Any other questions you want to ask?
I think that was kind of it for our questions. If our listeners wanted to find you guys online, where would they look?
kamerican.com. That's our website. Main one. Then we're also on Facebook, and
Kat has a Twitter.
I have a Twitter.
I have one as well, but I don't really go there.
Oh, she's just started on Instagram today. I'm not giving it much hope.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's about how we are too. I'm like, I guess we could post pictures, but I don't really know what I'm doing.
The height of my social media activity.
But it's easier to go to kamerican.com and go into contact, and you'll find all the links to everything.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you both coming on to the show and talking with us. It's been a blast getting to talk about the series and your Patreon and everything.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much. I know it's late for you, so we won't keep you up any longer, but this was very, very fantastic. I'm so glad that you're able to come on.
Yeah. And Guns and Boys is going to be our book of the month pick, the first one. So that way we can...
very, very happy when it gets some love, because it's such a love project for us. We've been writing these characters for over 10 years now, and we first started writing them in Polish, and are now redoing all these books in English, adding things. So it's
making
so
the
exciting.
Plot more concise.
Making the plot more
making
concise.
it better.
Making it better. But also these characters, they just live within us, and seeing people connect with them is just brilliant for us. So we try to promote it wherever we can.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, then we'll let you guys have a good night, and
And thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you again.
Thank you too.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
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 So thanks again to Kat and Agnes for joining us. That was super fun.
So our bottom pick for the month of February is going to be Guns N' Boys 1, He is Poison, by K.A. American, of course. As always, we're going to be doing a giveaway for this book. We're going to be doing an ebook for this giveaway. So if you'd like to enter for your chance to win, just subscribe to our website, toptobottompodcast.com.
As always, you can join the conversation on Facebook and our shiny new Goodreads.
Yes.
And since it is February, the month of Valentine's Day, you should share with us the things you love about male-male romance on our Facebook page.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So if you guys get a chance to do that, we look forward to it. And until next time.